Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel, honey, and welcome back to another quick chat. Now, listen, y'all know I got a chance to slide over there and check out the interview that Martell Holt did with Miss Tasha K. Okay, I had to go ahead and check it out because I know that some of you guys would not, and I know some of y'all want to carry on the conversation down in the comments. I said, let me go ahead and check this out for my people, okay, for my ladybugs and my good luck charmers. Okay, I said, let me go ahead and check this out. Go ahead and pull my notes and stuff out and chat with y'all about it. Now, understand this interview was extremely long. It was about 2 hours long of an interview. I pulled out whatever details that I cared to mention to you guys from what he talked about. I feel like 2 hours was too long for a person that really came on the platform to not make Mel look good, but also not wanting to share more. It was weird. It just seems like Tasha had to pull some stuff out of him. You know what I'm saying? It was like, Martell, you're really there to try and expose Mel or whatever it is you're trying to do, baby. So let's just, tell it all. If we're going to tell it, then we got to tell it all. He came there with video, he came there with photos trying to incriminate Mel, which actually, in my opinion, didn't necessarily incriminate her because he was trying to say that Mel was the one that's more physical in the relationship. He says that he has never touched Mel or any woman for that matter. Okay. But he did accuse Mel of getting physical with him. And the proof that he used was video footage, right? Where you saw Mel threatening him with the bat. You saw Mel picking up, it looked like a tree or something, looked like she was about to, throw it against the car, damage the vehicle. You see Mel in one video pouring lighter fluid throughout the house because she was going to set that bitch on fire. And I'll be honest, for me, when I saw her setting the light, putting the lighter fluid out, and she was like, she was finna burn this bitch up. I was like, the lady is telling you to give her fucking money. You went and took money out of y'all account, and Mel is like, you need to put my fucking money back. If you don't, I'm gonna set this bitch aflame. Pretty much, in so many words, is what she was saying. And he gonna talk about some. It's our money. She's like, don't play with me. Don't be standing over there acting like you so innocent. This, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Give me my fucking money, basically. All right. And I believe that was the money when they were going through that divorce or whatever. And he went and took all that money out of the account and moved it or whatever the case was. Moral of the story, he took money out the account that belonged to them. And if it belonged to them, talking about this our money, why would you then go into the account and take a good lump sum of it? That's effed up, okay? And then when she was threatening him with the bat and then, about to tear the car up or whatever the case was, and he kept saying, Mel, stop, Mel, chill, Mel, please, Mel, what are you doing? Calm down. It's like, sir, I need to know what you did because you're trying to show us video as though it's an action that she just decided she just gonna do this, but it really was giving a reaction to something that you did. Okay. And I'm trying to find out what you did. Now, granted, she shouldn't be around there trying to tear up nothing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, because if it came down to it, the police came to the house, they could have potentially took her to jail based on his footage and whatever she did, right? But at the same time, it's giving you be out here doing shit to this lady for her to respond to your ass like that. Okay. So I can't. Yeah, he also, gave Tasha some text messages and things of, the back and forth between them. He also does go on to mention his arrest because that did happen recently. A lot of people was believing that Arion got him arrested. Melody confirmed during her tour with Carlos that it was pretty much her. And then Martell goes on to confirm in this interview that it indeed was Melody that got him arrested. And he shares text messages with Tasha that kind of showed to me that um it appeared as though there were nothing incriminating because according to the documents that they were referencing the date that Melody received the text messages. When he pulled those text messages up for Tasha, it didn't show anything incriminating or anything bad as to why he would have gotten arrested. But what I believe is that he deleted some stuff, okay? Because he does mention a photo, but then when you look in the photo is not there. But anywho, girl, let me go ahead and just start over to the top of the interview, or at least the top of my notes where I started to pull out details that I cared enough to pull out. All right. So make sure that you guys are coming into this video. You are indeed liking the video. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. And then also let me know which one is y'all. Are y'all the ladybugs? Okay. Put your ladybug in the chat for that. Or are you a good luck charmer? Okay. Then put your, your good luck charms or whatever in there too, your 4-leaf clovers or whatever clovers you got on your phone, honey. Put those in the chat and let me know which one you is. Okay, we all come together, so it don't matter which one you are because it's all bringing good luck. Okay, it's definitely all bringing it. I just want to know which one you is down there in the chat. All right, now let's go ahead and get into it. So he mentions that Arion should be on the show. Okay, this is Martell. I don't know if he genuinely feels that way, but this is what he's saying. And the fact that he mentioned it multiple times throughout this interview leads me to believe that he really does want her on the show. Either that he wants her on the show to either get at Mel and make Mel feel away, or he wants her on the show so that she can get a check so he ain't got to be giving her his checks. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. But he mentions that he thinks Arion should indeed be on the show. He says she should get a check and receive back pay from people talking about her so much. They may not have mentioned her name, but she constantly comes up, and he feels like she has continued to come up till this day on the show. So if y'all gonna keep talking about her, then y'all need to pay her a check. I'm just letting y'all know what Mr. Martell Holt said. He also says that he does take care of Arion, and also goes on to say he will continue to do so. So with that being said, because he does take care of her, that's kind of why I feel like, okay, Martell, you really just want this girl on the show so she can get a check and you can ease back off of giving her your coin. Just a little bit. Hello? So anywho, he also speaks on Mel's alleged affair, saying that she was having an affair with some man, but he says he couldn't okay. So he mentioned that Mel was having an affair with a man, but he didn't seem to, let me go back. So he speaks on Mel having an alleged affair, but he also goes on to say that she can't seem to show him off on any vacations that she has been on. So the conversation went to Mel having like an alleged affair or whatever the case is. He's been actually, I'm wrong. He actually said that Mel has a man. He says Mel has been telling him that she has a man, but does she really have a man? Because when he looks at her photos, her videos, she never seems to show a man on all of these vacations that she's been on. And then he goes on to say it's nothing to brag about if you're getting flown out and then fucked. He said, and that's it. He says that's nothing to be over there bragging about. So he's insinuating that Mel is going on these luxury trips, not for herself, not to enjoy herself, to relax, to chill, to have a great time. She's going on these trips with another man, but she's just not showing y'all who the man is, because it seems like to me he was kind of trying to allude to the fact that he probably with somebody else and she out there hanging out with somebody else's man. That was the vibe that I was getting from what he was saying. Okay, because it seems like he keep trying to put Mel and Arion in the same boat. Because even when he goes on later on in the interview to mention an alleged affair that she may have had while they were married or whatever, he also says that that guy also had a woman too. So she a side chick too. This is what Martell is saying. So it seems like he keep trying to put her in the same boat. Now, he wanted to make it clear that when he got Arion pregnant, he and Mel were separated. He said, so whenever I stepped out to do, my thing and whatever, she stepped out and did her thing. So when it comes down to it, don't be asking me what it was that I was doing. Don't ask me what it was that I was doing when I ended up getting this young lady pregnant, because me and Mel wasn't together anyway, although we were still married. I was like, Martell, baby, that's not gonna add up, honey. That's not gonna work out, right? When they was pregnant at the same time. That's not gonna add up. I don't believe nothing that he's talking about with that. I do believe that if you go and you watch the interview for yourself, you will get a mixture of truth and lies. Okay. I think where the truth comes in for me is where he speaks about his arrest. Okay. When he spoke about his arrest, he said that he went to the jail to pick up a particular document from the records department, right? So when he went down there to pick up the document from the records department, they said, "Hold on, Mr. Holt, give me 1 second," and pretty much had him standing around waiting until the police came to arrest him. Basically, the man came to him and said, "You got a warrant," and Martell was like, "You ain't talking about me. You gonna be talking about my brother, because I ain't got nothing." So he was completely shocked and shook. He did not know that he had a warrant out there on him, and he said that he had just picked his kids up right after school. He had just went to the courthouse or whatever or the police station right after he picked his kids up from school. And he says that the officer ended up being pretty nice to him. He said, man, I got my kids in the car. I think the oldest daughter he may have taken to like, one of her extracurricular activities. And so the man was like, okay, yeah, I'll walk out here to the car with you. Martell calls his mom. He said his mom was super upset or whatever the case was, and she had to come and pick up the kids. Okay. He says that he was in there for about 3 hours or so, and then he ended up getting out. Okay. He says that Mel has tried to get him arrested at least 6 times before this particular situation. And he kind of touches on maybe at least one of those things throughout the interview. And one of the things that he said she tried to get him arrested on was him abusing their son. And he was like, I gave him a spanking. She went and said I gave him like 25 licks or something like that. And he was like, but I didn't give him 25 licks. He said, you know how you may tell your kid, sit down, you over here acting up, I'm gonna give you 25 licks. Well, Martell, that's your fault still. Because why is you telling your child, if I'm disciplining my kid, I'm not gonna tell you how many licks I'm gonna give your ass. Okay? You better get it together. Sit it down, or you gonna get popped. It's really just that simple. Okay. But anywho, he told the baby 25 licks or whatever. The boy kept acting up. He said that he popped him. He said his face, he was laughing at first, and then the face changed by the time he hit him the last time. But he feels like he was disciplining his child. He was not abusing his child. But Melody gets the kids, whenever she gets the kids back, she likes to question them. And he believes his son said, Daddy hit me 25 times or whatever. And because of that, she decided to take those details and try to go and get him locked up or whatever the case is. He also kind of touched on Mel doing a lot of stuff for TV, and when it comes to the court case, when it comes to like the kids and stuff, he's glad that the judge has been seeing things in his favor, and that Mel has been doing a lot of stuff for storyline. And the judge, he said they have another court hearing coming up next week, and he says that the judge is going to see through that as well and see that Mel just be doing all of this stuff for TV or whatever the case is. That's just what he's saying, which is interesting because when we look at last season, I don't recall hearing really nothing about court for real. And I'm not talking about like last year around this time, because the seasons run for a whole year or however long. I mean, the season that literally just ended last week, that part of the season, the second half of the season, I don't remember them speaking on anything when it came to their kids or the courts or anything. So I wasn't really sure how she was using it for TV, but anyway, girl. So he goes on to say, when it comes to the arrest was regarding a text message from August 27th of 2022. He says he sent her a picture of herself, and in the documents that I guess he received about his arrest, he saw something that said seemingly sexual, but he's saying he doesn't know what photo they have, so he's waiting to see it. And I'm like, well, Martell, baby, you don't make sense, because how you gonna reference that you sent her a particular photo of herself or whatever the case is, but then turn around and say you don't know what photo they got? It's more than likely the one that you sent her, unless you sent her multiple damn photos. You know what it is. Anywho, he does go on to deny that there was an sex tape. He also said that the whole photo thing that he had, he deleted it out of his phone. Okay, it was like, yeah, like a photo. He said he deleted it out of his phone. And then when the question was asked about whether Arion knew, or whether he showed Arion, he said Arion went through his phone and she saw the picture, and once she saw it, he decided to go ahead and delete it. That doesn't make any sense. It's because how you listed it or how you worded that sounds like, oh, because Arion wasn't happy, I chose to go ahead and delete it because she wasn't happy about it and she saw it. And let me tell you how I know you lying. Because when Mel found out about you messing with Arion and she told you how she did not like that, you didn't stop messing with her. You continued to mess with her, whether it was on and off or whatever. You continued to mess with her until you got her pregnant again. So, girl, what? Anywho, so yeah, when it come down to the sex tape, he wanted to be very clear that that is not true. And then when it came to Carson Blue, I feel like he didn't really debunk anything that she said. He just said he's not going to address anything that stripper is talking about or whatever. And I'm like, okay, then Martell, I guess, honey. So anywho, Tasha gets his phone. She reads the text messages from Martell, and all Martell was pretty much saying, and which was interesting because his messages with Mel started out in blue, and then they quickly turned to green. So I'm like, no, how that happened? Did you send the messages as a text message? Or what was going on there? But anywho, so he basically was telling Melody that she and her fans, the Mellow meters, need to stop bullying him. Like y'all need to stop. Like I'm tired of it. Like you gonna make me start treating you how you treat me. You keep on. Basically, that's what he was saying. But I feel like he probably told her, "You gonna make me treat you however." And then sent her this photo. You keep fucking with me, keep bullying me. I'm gonna air your ass out. You see this? That's what I think happened. Okay, I think he probably sent her the photo or whatever. So then he tries to call out Bill, saying she do a lot of this SHI for storyline, because how is it that he sent her this message back in August 27th of 2022, and then she wait till July of 2023, almost a damn year to press charges? Like, why wait almost a year? Like, you doing stuff for the TV show, like for a storyline, because you ain't got one. You ain't got nothing else going on in your life. So you sitting over here trying to, take me down. You trying to put me under the ground or whatever. And I'm like, well, Martell, unfortunately for you, dear, there are statute of limitations on things, right? And sometimes those statute of limitations may be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case is, depending on the situation. So, okay, she technically had however long they would allow for her to turn it in. So it could have been 2 years. She could have came and got your ass 2 years later versus a year later. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she wanted to do something then, but she was like, you know what, F it, I'm gonna let it go, whatever. And then maybe she got triggered by something and was like, you know what, I've been holding on to this. And I said I wasn't gonna do that, but damn that, I'm gonna go do it now. It is what it is. So I mean, it could be a situation like that. So, anywho, Martell, this is where he clarifies that he has never gotten physical with Melody. He completely says that. Tasha goes on to say that she doesn't condone anyone putting hands on other people, and then proceeds to show the video of Mel walking up on Martell with a bat, trying to damage property, and also the video of Mel requesting her money from Martell, requesting that he put the money back into the account. And that's when she was threatening to set the house on fire or whatnot. So Tasha asked him what he saw in Mel. And then Martell says, listen, when it comes to the producers make people do certain things to make Mel look good. And she was like, well, what they got to do with what you saw in her? He was like, that's what I'm saying. He was like, she gets enough positivity on the show. They do a lot of SHI in her favor to always make her look good. So if they're going to do that on the show, let her have that on the show. But in this interview, I will not be speaking positively about that woman. So don't ask me to. I don't want to say nothing that's going to be positive, anything nice about her, none of that. Okay. She get enough of that shit on the show. Just telling y'all what Martell said. Okay. So Martell feels like Mel uses him for a storyline. He goes on to talk about how I believe the court hearing that they may have next week, don't quote me, might be about the kids. He says that she wants the kids back on television, and she also wants the kids to be posted on social media. And he's like, absolutely not. Okay, you're gonna come on a platform and you're gonna continue to bash me and bash me. I know I did whatever it is that I did, but you're gonna keep bashing me, and then you want to bring my kids on the same platform that you disrespected me on, or whatever the case. So no, I don't want them on there. But I'm kind of like, well, if the kids have a business, Martell, don't stifle their business because of what y'all got going through, what y'all got going on. That's where I feel like you got to think bigger than y'all issues, and think about the kids. Like, how do you think they may feel later on in life? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you got to strike while the iron is hot. And right now the iron is hot as y'all have this television show, whether the views have dropped or not. Y'all may get at least over 200,000. Now, y'all might not be getting the 500,000 or the 400,000 that y'all used to be getting, but y'all still getting a piece of something. So if these kids have businesses that were, put in place by their mom or you or whatever the case, that's exposure. So why are you stifling your kids because you're doing something to me to try to hurt her, which is then affecting your kids? The same thing that you be trying to say that she does. It's giving tit for tat, titty tat, patty whack. Anywho, So he goes on and he speaks on the other times that she's tried to get him arrested and she accused him of abusing their son. And this is where he goes into the babysitters. Okay. He's still very adamant that there have indeed been 20 babysitters. He says the only thing is that 11 of them were the ones that kept the kids overnight. I do remember Mel referencing 11 babysitters or something like that. That number 11 came, maybe, I don't know if she referenced it or not, but I do remember 11 babysitters coming up at the reunion. I feel like Martell may have said 11 babysitters. And then I think Mel was like, you said it was 20. Now you saying it's 11. Which one is it? Right. So that's why he, I guess, felt the need to clarify the 20 versus the 11. 11 people have kept his kids overnight. And Martell was just like, I always get my kids, even when she doesn't want the kids. I always am there to get the kids. And I just don't like my kids being in the presence of too many people, or whatever the case is. Now, see, with that, I will have to I agree with him on that. I understand him with that if they are being seen by a ton of babysitters, right? Because I just feel like you can't trust everybody with your children. You can't. I do feel like if the roles were reversed and Martell had 11 different people watching their kids, Mel not having that okay, she's gonna shut that shit completely down, as any mother would, because you're not gonna be having my kids with all these different people. Just bring them up, just bring them back to me if you can't get them, right? So I do understand where he's coming from with that particular situation. Okay. um so there's that. He speaks on Arion being on the show again. He also says she was promised to be on the show. Then he says that somebody blocked it, but he's not going to say who. But then towards the end of the interview, at some point during the interview, I believe he referenced Mel. Mel was the one that probably didn't want her on the show. I know that's something that we've heard in the past, that she didn't want him. I'm sorry, want her on the show. So she ended up blocking it. I mean, what woman would really want the mistress on the show? Hell, y'all dragged the fuck out of Kenya when she brought the cookie lady on the damn show, child. Okay. So I understand that, but then I'm also like, girl, the show is dropping so much and people are losing interest so much on a regular that if she showed up, people will definitely tune in. People will be saying they don't like her. Whatever the case, they drag her, they think she's not a pretty girl. Whatever it is that y'all say about Arion, y'all would still sit up there and more than likely tune in and see what the hell going on the show. Now, y'all might tune in just to drag her ass, but y'all gonna tune in. Okay. If she were to ever show up on the show, I don't see her ever crossing paths with Melody. I do not see that. She has no need and no reason to, in my personal, because it's so far removed to me. Okay. If y'all would have brought her on the show earlier when all of this was coming out, then maybe. But now, I mean, if she gonna film Martell, she film Martell. If y'all don't give her an invite to the reunion, then okay. It just depends on, I guess, what y'all talking about. If Arion came onto the stage during the reunion, Mel probably not gonna be on the stage at the same time. I don't know. Even though in the interview Martell was talking about how, and even Tasha K referenced Arion saying how Melody has actually sat and had conversations with Arion at her home for a few hours. So I don't know. Maybe a male can just coexist in her space, but she just not gonna actually film with her throughout the show. What else? Something I wish Tasha kind of would have asked Martell was, how do your children respond to her? How do your kids now respond to Arion, knowing that their parents are no longer together? Mel said in the reunion that every time her kids are over there, Arion is there. So how do your children respond to her? How was that transition? Like, what was that like? Because I do remember it may have been like maybe 2-3 seasons ago. At some point, I believe they said that when they saw Arion with their I think Melody mentioned when the kids saw Arion with their dad, I think her daughter yelled out of the car, "Get away from our dad," or something like that. Something like that. So the kids wasn't really taking too much of liking to Miss Girl at that particular time, because of course they witnessed the back and forth of their parents in the household and all of that. So they were aware, especially the oldest, aware of what the hell was going on. So I remember that. So now that y'all are no longer together, how they feeling? How they responding? Anywho, um He also goes on to say since she was being blocked from the show, that's when they decided to, pretty much use her voice instead, since she couldn't actually come onto the camera. Let's use her voice. And then he said they paid her a nice little coin just to use her voice on the show. And I believe that was when Martell was driving around in the car and Arion was on speakerphone and they were having a quick conversation. So they paid her for that. Okay. Now Martell speaks on male cheating with their attorney, but he didn't want to say the guy's name or whatever. But towards the end of the at some point during the interview, he does mention Dan Crane. Dan Crane, from what it looks like to me, is a injury lawyer from what I saw. Now it said he's based out of Birmingham, but I don't know if he's in Birmingham or if he's in Huntsville or if he was at Huntsville at the time, and then now in Birmingham. Okay. I'm just telling y'all what Martell said in this interview. Now, he said that at the time when Mel was messing with the attorney, he said he didn't know that she was over there cheating. He said what he found out was he ended up seeing inappropriate text messages later on that was happening between her and the attorney. And that's what made it, you know what I'm saying, a big deal. That's when he felt like she was cheating. And then he said that Dan or whatever had a girlfriend at the time. So he reached out to her and told her what was going on. And the girl was like, oh, I thought they were friends. I figured it was more than what it was, or whatever the case. That's what he is, alleging, right? So they speak on Arion again being a side chick. And this is where Martell clarifies and sorry, y'all. Then that's when Martell clarifies and says that she was never a side chick. Okay, this is what he said. She's not a side chick. Well, I don't think he said never. I can't recall, but I know he said that she wasn't a side chick at all. He says, but she was his woman. Okay, period. And then goes on to let us know that she is still his woman. Well, really, he wouldn't say woman. He would more so say girl. But he pretty much confirmed that that is his girl. And they don't live together at this time because she has her own responsibilities and so does he. But they are indeed together. It's giving heavy on the situationship for me. It's still giving heavy on the situationship for me. I still feel like Martell does not take Arion as serious as she thinks. I do not. Even though he says he takes care of her, he takes care of pretty much her kids too, because taking care of her is like taking care of her kids, and then he already has a son with her, right? But he confirmed like, yeah, that's my girl. It was given hesitancy. He was hesitant to even say that. He was hesitant to even, speak on he and Sheree and them dating. He did say that they had sex. They used to fuck or whatever the case was. But that's what I didn't. That's the thing that I'm saying. When Martell did this interview, you came on this interview with Tasha K to expose, to get some things off your chest, to say what the fuck it is you got to say. But the whole time you're sitting there, you were hesitant. You were hesitant to confirm some stuff. The only thing you, to me, said with your chest was Arion wasn't a side chick and that she was your woman. I feel like that's like the only thing you about said with your damn chest. Everything else, you just seem like you was a little, and the fact that Mel cheated. And that's it. Everything else was like hesitant. You told us she cheated, but at first you didn't even want to tell us who the hell it was with. Like it was giving hesitance. And I guess as you got more comfortable, you decided to just let it roll out. Like, it is what it is. Oh, child. Anywho, what else happened? So Martell believes that Arion, because they ended up speaking on like, them bringing new people on the show. I'll be honest, I'm like, yeah, can you go find somebody to date that's not fucking Sheree? If it's Arion, it is what it is. You might have to continue to, how did Miss Karen say? Jamal lives through the phone. Maybe Arion gonna have to live through the phone on the show. Okay, I don't know, but I'm getting over this Mel versus Martell situation on the show. It's definitely becoming boring. Let's move on. Okay. What else? I'm ready to see Mel go and date somebody else that she feels comfortable bringing on the damn show. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, because then Martell, I feel like you're gonna be trying to harass that man or something like that. Then we're gonna be back in this Martell versus Mel type of situation. Okay, either that or the producers just need to figure out a new way to work out the storylines between Mel and Martell. We not really hearing a whole lot about their court cases and stuff. That's what they really got going on. So I mean, I don't know, but I'm just, girl, I'm kind of tired of hearing about that. And every time Martell brings her up, it's like, oh, she cheated, she cheated. Nail, you need to hold her accountable. And it's like, I am so fucking tired. Don't you got somebody else you could be dating? Okay, what else is going on? Go bring somebody else on. Let's move on. So, anywho, Martell believes that Arion will come on the show and possibly take Mel's spotlight, and that could be why Mel didn't want her on the show. And I'm like, now how would she really do that? Because I mean, if she were to take any spotlight, it wouldn't be in the same light. In my personal, I think Mel is in, like, a lot of fans are in support and in favor of Mel. She was there from the beginning. She helped implement and create the show, whatever the case is. They get to see more of her life, right? Arion, they don't like her because they see her as like a disrespectful, home wrecking bitch or whatever the case is. Okay, they don't they ain't featuring Miss Arion. All right. Now, you might have some fans that will sympathize with Arion should she come to the show off of her being a single mom or whatever. You say that you dating her, but it's giving heavy on the single mom. But if that's what you say, then I guess she's not a single mom. But anyway, some people might, if they got to know her a little better, they might potentially be like, oh, I like her. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, she not as bad as I thought. I'm glad we got to see another side. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know we, and you might have a few. It probably won't be a lot. It won't be a lot at all. It will not be a lot, but there will definitely be a few that's probably gonna like her. But again, it's not gonna be in the same light because she's still going to be seen as whoever she was, side chick. That's how they're gonna always see her. It's that, and it ain't gonna be too much or nothing that she could do to change that image of her, and the people gonna continue to not like her. They're gonna tune into the show so that they can continue to rag, tag, and drag the hell out of that. Like, that's just what it is. Okay. Now, as far as ratings, it will help the ratings, I do believe. Martell and Tasha talked about how Tasha K ended up interviewing Arion, those few years back. Until this day, out of all of the interviews that Tasha has done, she says she's done like over 2,000. That's what she said. But she says out of all of the interviews that she has done, Arion's is the highest one, the one with the most views. So Martell's like, well, damn, if you feel like if just an interview is getting those views, then imagine what a television show would get. And based on those numbers, he believes, in my opinion, that that's going to be enough to take Melody's spotlight, but not necessarily because it ain't the same light. Okay. She might end up doing herself a disservice coming on the show, possibly. Who knows? I mean, it could be a situation where you thought your life was getting ruined when you wasn't on the show and they was just talking about you. And then now you on the show and it done got even worse. So I don't know. I don't know, girl, but good luck. Okay. Good luck to you, ma'am. We'll have to see. It don't look like it's anything that's going to be happening anytime soon. Okay. What else happened? And Tasha asked him what he loves about Arion. Girl, he barely could say anything. He says that she's a great mother. And then he said they vibe good. That's all that he could say. She's a great mother. That's one thing he likes about her, not loves about her. He said that's one thing he likes about her. She be on top of her kids' homework and stuff. And then he says they have a really good vibe to each other. Because he couldn't really even answer the question as to why, what he loves about her. Whether, I think did he say she had a good heart? I feel like he did try to say she had a good heart. Don't quote me. I feel like he did try to say that. But the fact that he was struggling to even get that out lets me know that he does not really take her serious as his girlfriend or whatever she is this week or next week. And that is giving the same situationship that y'all have been in when you first met her. Okay. But carry on, girl. Tasha says Mel had to know about the outside relationship that had been going on for like 7 years or so in the marriage, on and off. Like, she says that Mel can't be playing victim for so long. You can't be playing victim like, woe is me. I didn't know you was cheating. You cheated on me, whatever. Like, she had to have known. I think Mel admitted that she knew. I mean, we even saw on the show that she at least knew. I don't know how many times she knew, but I know that she at least knew on the show because they got into that argument. I think they were wearing all white. It was like around Kimmy's little celebration or something, or a wedding thing. And then Mel tells him that you should have kept your DICK in the house, or whatever it was that she told him about that. So she definitely knew, and she was trying to, keep her marriage from, falling apart or whatever the case was. So yeah, but anywho, girl. So Martell says that he wasn't cheating when he had his child, and he says he and Mel weren't together. As I told you guys earlier, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So anyway, child, he's trying to sit up here and change narratives. Okay, if Mel, I guess he feels like if Mel could say that she never cheated on me or whatever, honey, then he could say that he wasn't cheating on her because he didn't have the child when they was together. And I'm like, well, y'all probably wasn't together when the child came, when you had the child. But what about when she got pregnant? Because they damn sure were pregnant about the same time, wasn't it? Anyway, girl, I'm not gonna fool with Martell these shenanigans. Anywho, so he goes on, and Tasha brings up the fact that, his little baby, people were questioning whether or not, or at least people said that he was questioning whether or not that child was his, the sugar mama, the baby, and that he wanted to get a DNA test. And then he just said he didn't really answer whether he wanted a DNA test. He just said she looks exactly like her mom. Like if you look at pictures of Mel when she was younger, like that little girl looks just like her mom. Like the other three, yes, they have, features of me, but she looks exactly like her mom. And he says, listen, that's my baby. You know what I'm saying? That's my baby girl or whatever. He was like, if any of these kids do not belong to me, he said, nobody would ever know. Because he's not getting a DNA test. He said he doesn't even want to know if any of them are not his. So as far as he's concerned, all of those children belong to him. And that's just that on that. Okay. He said some other stuff, some other fluff throughout the interview or whatever, girl. But I'll let y'all go over there and check it out if you care to, and you want to hear more of what Mr. Martell Holt had to say. But in the meantime, go ahead and like up the video, because that is all that I have for y'all at this time, honey. All right. I am Jamie. That's me. Okay. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, all that great stuff. Okay. Follow me on Instagram and the Twitter, also known as X. All right. Leave your thoughts and comments down below about, the conversation and the interview that Mr. Martell Holt had with Tasha K. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mile. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler, the flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out and came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.